Hey, sis. I'm really excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about the mindsets needed to build a profitable life in business. And this episode is really important because I mentioned to you that I was a very tactical person. So I'm that person who want to know the strategies, the to-dos, and the know-how, and I will execute on it. But what I realized as I grew in my journey was that there was a barrier blocking my execution, and that barrier were mindsets. So today we're going to be talking about the three main mindsets that you need in order to build a profitable life in business. Let's get to it.
You are listening to Call Her Profitable, the podcast where we blend faith, business, and personal development. I'm your host, Odaisha, founder of the Woman of Power Group and certified life and business coach. And on this podcast, we'll explore partnering with God in your entrepreneurial endeavors, uncover your God-given gifts so you can start and grow a business that flows, transform your mindset, and walk confidently in your calling. So grab your journal, sis, that Bible, and your favorite iced coffee as we embark on this journey together. Let's get started.
Hey, sis. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the mindset needed to build a profitable life in business. And as I reflect on my own life and where I am right now, I realized that there was a shift in my mindset that allowed me to be committed and consistent in what it is that God was calling me to build. I remember back in 2023, I got laid off twice in 1 year from two different jobs. And the last job that I got laid off from was the one that really prompted a shift in my mindset. It was the highest paying salary job I had up until that point. I was able to negotiate about a $20,000 raise that year with the company. I was able to honestly flex my gift of administration and leadership. It was a work from home job. Everything was going good until it wasn't. Felt myself really burnt out. I was spending a lot of time at work. And because the company's time zone was a different time zone than my time zone, the times that I should be spending with my husband or making dinner, I actually was now wrapping up from work. So it really left me depleted. I remember one time me and my husband went to go visit a friend of ours, and I was locked inside of her room working and stressing while my friends was, on the couch and laughing and talking to one another. It was hard. I remember God had prompted me and my husband to get married. So we had a cute boutique courthouse wedding. And honestly, it happened on the fly. Like it was like God told us to get married in a courthouse, and we got married like 2 weeks later. But I remember having to put in time off to get married and not knowing if that time off was going to get approved. It wound up getting approved and we had a beautiful wedding. But the very next day, I had to go back to work. So my honeymoon was back to work because I knew that if I didn't work, I wasn't going to get paid. And I didn't like that for me. I didn't like feeling like I was held bondage by a job. I also didn't like that I had to give my husband the last of me because I gave all of me to work at that moment. I could go on and on about all the things that happen at work, but I knew that I wanted the time and money flexibility to do what God was calling me to do. And I realized a lot of women that I'm connected to, they want the same thing. They want more. I did a focus group and survey before launching this podcast, and many of the women said the same thing. And this may be you. You want to have a multi six-figure business, but you also want to be a wife. You want to have a healthy family. You want to be a good mom. You want to serve your community. You want to master your finances and be a good steward over your home and all the things. And it dawned on me that really what all of us want, we want to be profitable in life, not just one area, but in all the areas. Now, when we think of profitability, we tend to only think of it in the sense of money, which is true to be profitable monetarily. However, profitability is also defined as useful, resourceful, beneficial, fruitful, successful, and valuable. Profitability is also having a happy marriage, being healthy in body, having a strong and active spiritual life, a flourishing relationship with God and the people around you. It's so much more than money. It's a holistic desire to be successful in every area of life, and it's possible. If we look at the Proverbs 31 woman, she was a great steward over everything she had. She was an investor. She was a servant in her community. She was a good employer. She was a responsible wife and mom who family raised up and called her blessed. She poured into others with wisdom and kind words, and she feared the Lord. So we know it's possible to have all the things, but sometimes we get so caught up in our day to day, we think that if we just figure it out in one area of our lives, then all the other areas of our lives will be better. And actually, that is true. We can have all the things if we first establish something, and that is the proper mindset. Now, I used to dislike the word and the idea about mindset. I'm a very tactical person, which means I'm the person who wants to know the know-hows, the to-dos, the strategies. Like, just give me what to do and I'll do it. And I believe that those were the vehicles that were going to get me to my next level. However, as I continue to grow and learn on my journey of profitability, I see there were a lot of barriers between what I said I was going to do compared to the results of that doing. Also, I realized that one area of my life I would be hyper focused in and I would neglect the other area of my life. And that's what the iceberg theory is. So I learned the iceberg theory as I was studying to get my coaching certification. And it's a theory created by Sigmund Freud that proposed that the human mind or psyche resembles an iceberg. When you look at an iceberg flowing, only 10% is visible and above the water, while 90% is invisible and below the surface. This principle can be applied to every area of our lives, whether we're learning a new skill or starting a business. We can see the iceberg theory on display. What this look like is everyone sees the success of a business or a relationship, which is the 10%, but don't see the hard work, persistence, good habits, beliefs, the values, the waking up early, the going to sleep late at night, the dedication, the discipline, the rejections, the risk, the disappointments, all the things which creates the 90% underneath the surface. And all of this is rooted in your mindset. In Hebrew, the word nephesh, which means soul, is also translated to mean mind, the inner being or the sum of all mental, emotional, and spiritual facilities. The word set means to put or place or to bring into a specific state. Set can also mean system or framework. So when we think of mind set, we are saying it's a system or framework in place for one's mental, emotional, and spiritual state. It is the established set of attitudes held by someone. Your mindset are strongholds. They are fortified systems or frameworks of belief and habits used to protect you from something foreign. So let's say you have made a goal to start a business this year, right? However, you find yourself not being consistent with it, you're slacking with it, you're not seeing any results, especially when you run into some type of opposition. The problem is not your follow through, which is at 10%. The problem is the systems and the habits you have set for yourself, which is the 90%. Maybe you have a belief that starting a business should be easy because God gave you the idea. So any opposition that makes it hard causes you to rethink if this is really what God has you to do. Or maybe you have a belief that the people you are called to serve should automatically buy into your offer because it worked for you. But when they don't, you pause on helping those people because now you don't think they're the ones you call to. Or you have a belief that no one will purchase your product or no one wants to hear from you. Maybe some of the habits you set for yourself is poor time management or not following through with a project or squandering resources on temporary pleasures because you quote unquote deserve it. 10% are the actions and 90% are the internal systems you have set within yourselves. This is why Romans chapter 12, verse 2 is so powerful. It tells us, do not conform to this world, their beliefs or systems, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, God's belief and system, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I love the TPT version. TPT version of Romans chapter 12, verse 2 reads like this. Stop imitating the ideals and opinions of the culture around you, but be inwardly transformed by the Holy Spirit through a total reformation of how you think. This will empower you to discern God's will as you live a beautiful life or a profitable life, satisfying and perfect in His eyes. So, what are the mindsets needed to live a beautiful life, or with keeping with the theme of building a profitable life in business? The first mindset you need in order to build a profitable life in business is the mindset of a steward of great riches. Everything we have, our vision, ideas, family, time, spiritual gifts, the people in our lives, our bodies, they're all gifts given to us by God. Matthew chapter 13, verses 44 to 46 reads, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in the field, which a man found and hid again. And from joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buy that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking fine pearls. And upon finding one pearl of great value, he went and sold all that he had and bought it. Everything we have is given from the King of glory. We are to look at it with honor, with awe, with a heart of, I'm going to steward it well with all care and diligence. This means managing your finances wisely, cultivating God given friendships and relationships, being intentional about what you spend your time on or how you spend your time, stirring up the gifts inside of you, and utilizing everything that God has given you. When you develop the mindset of a steward of great riches, you will not tolerate squandering anything God has given you, whether it's life or business or family, your body, your mindset, whatever it is, you will not tolerate just managing it any old way. The second mindset that you need to build a profitable life in business is a growth mindset. This is one of continuous learning and exploration. This is sharpening and being a master at your craft. This is not having pride and being willing to grow and get uncomfortable and submit to authority. This looks like committing to ongoing education and self improvement, keeping up with the trends and advancement of your industry, adhering to ethical practices, having self discipline, so maintaining focus and avoiding distractions that derail you from your growth, investing financially in your growth. Many of us want to get there quickly and for free, but not willing to pay the price for the wisdom and the knowledge of someone that can help you get there. It's time to put your money where your faith is, sis. Having a growth mindset also looks like building resilience and having the ability to adapt to change. And if you are not where you want to be, you want to invest in the habits and the practices that will allow you to get there and be the best once you arrive. And the third mindset that you want to have to build a profitable life in business is one of a servant. So you want a servant mindset. This is all about building authentic relationships and tending to the needs of the people around you. This is about being humbled and willing to put yourself out there for others, especially us entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, our business is not about us, it's about the people that we're called to serve. We are solvers of other people's problems. This is about getting to know the people God has called you to serve, knowing what their problems are, and being committed to develop a product that will truly help them solve this problem. This is also understanding where to find them, where they hang out at, what are some of the barriers and challenges they face, and serve them with a heart of giving and not just receiving. And of course, this principle can be applied to your household, to your family, to your friends, having a servant mindset. So, how do we cultivate these mindsets? The first thing you want to do is pray. James chapter 1, verse 5 tells us to ask God for wisdom and he'll give it to us as long as we believe. In prayer, you want to ask God to renew your mind. You want to ask him to give you a mind like Christ. Some of my prayers have been, God, renew my mind, give me the mind of Christ, help me to like the things that you like, help me to think about the things that you think about, help me to dislike the things that you dislike, and help me not to think about the things that are not pleasing to you. The next thing you want to do is read or listen to personal development books that challenge your mindset. This is something that has truly helped me grow on my journey is by reading books and also listening to audiobooks that stretches me, stretches my way of thinking, stretches how I see myself, and also provides brain food. The next thing you want to do is study the Bible. Studying the Bible will help you draw closer to God, of course, but also will strip off limited mindsets and belief that you may have, and also strip you of the identity that the world has put on you and take on your true identity in Christ. And then the last thing is get around higher thinkers. This one, along with reading books, has helped my mindset grow so much. So I know that we like to say a community of like minded people, or we want to be around like minded people, which is powerful. But you also want to get around people that don't think like you. You also want to get around people that think higher than you so your mindset can be stretched. And you can do this by investing in coaching programs, seeking out mentors that are in places you want to be, and also serving people that are making huge impacts, the type of impacts that you want to make. So just a recap. We spoke about the mindsets you need in order to build a profitable life in business. Profitability is not just about money, but flourishing and value in all the areas of your life. There's so many mindsets for you to adapt, but these top three, I believe, is a really good start. And that's one of a servant of great riches. So you can honor and handle with care and diligence all that God has given you. The one of a growth mindset. So you can invest in your personal, your family, your business development, seeking to improve your quality of life and the quality of life of the people around you, in the mindset of a servant, not always looking to receive, but also having a heart posture of giving, nurturing, and cultivating others. And all of this will take consistency and practice. Many of these mindsets you may already have, but you just need a little bit more development in. And I started this podcast episode talking about my experience with getting laid off twice and working a job that I was really burnt out at. And it was from that experience that really showed me that I didn't just want money. I didn't just want more time. I wanted to be profitable in every area of my life. I didn't have an execution problem. I had a mindset problem. I had to adapt a certain system of belief in order to get to the next level, which is the level that I am now, but I'm continuously growing in. So let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram at the Woman of Power Group and let me know which mindset are you currently working on, and also other mindsets that help you to get to the next level. Sis, I really hope that this episode was helpful for you. As always, if you found this episode to be resourceful, please share it with a friend, leave a review, and rate the show. It's by your continuous support that I'm encouraged to keep going. Until next time, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Hey sis, thanks for tuning in. If you found any value in today's episode, I'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a review and share the podcast with a friend. Together, we can empower more women to walk boldly in their faith and business. Until next time, stay profitable.